Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show to Be with Mike G, the show of life, the show of Jalisco, the show of Dia de los Muertos, Fortaleza, and so much more. I say this in the interview, but years in the making. Danny from Fortaleza did an amazing favor for me, not only including me on the Dia de los Muertos trip for Fortaleza, but also scheduling one-on-one time in the cave at Fortaleza with none other than Guillermo Sauza. So this is that chat. There's one picture that exists, and a lot of pictures from the trip, which I'll post as well, but it's just he and I in a cave, holding microphones, talking about life, talking about business, and talking about tequila while drinking it. These moments I've had in this 10 years of podcasting, this is one of those greatest moments I've ever had. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this great conversation with Guillermo Sauza.
Good question, but no. I traveled a lot. We traveled all over the place. We certainly love going to, like, the best bar show in the world is Berlin, and we love going there. But you know what? I also like staying home.
Do you?
Yeah, we have 12 dogs, 6 horses, 30 chickens, probably 20 ducks, 40 sheep. And so it's a regular farm here, and somebody's got to be here, you got to be here to take care of the animals, and that's what life's about. So, well, I enjoy my 4-day motorcycle trips and, a short vacation. We would spend sometimes 3 weeks in Europe going and visiting accounts, visiting clients. And that gets old. It gets old being away, sleeping in a hotel, and it gets old. And if you ask, I'd rather be walking the dogs. So,
has that changed over time?
Yes, absolutely.
When you let's say 20 years ago, right? Did you feel the same way about that balance between road life, as I consider people, they're musicians, right, on stage and stuff, and then home life? Is this kind of a recent change for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think after COVID, it changed drastically because I saw what, we were stuck here for, I don't know, it seemed like a year, maybe it was more than a year. And for me, I think we experienced the joys of staying home, and we're not like, I recall people saying, wow, they're locked in an apartment, in a 2-bedroom apartment, and they couldn't go out. They couldn't even walk their dog at one point, or you had to have a dog to walk your dog in some of these cities with this phony quarantine stuff they were proposing on everybody. And at the time, of course, we didn't know it was phony, but now that...
Seems like it now, doesn't it?
No,
Fauci,
Anthony Fauci admitted it. It was all phony. Yeah. There was no science. There was zero science behind all of these quarantines and social distancing and all that stuff. So, they lied to us. But at any rate, I remember seeing and people having to stay in their apartments, and I thought, shit, well, it's not too bad here. We're on about 80 acres, so we didn't have any trouble. You could go out and walk the dogs and, pardon me, and be able to do all of that. So we got this COVID thing pretty easily, and compared to other people that got locked in. And to me though, but I think somewhere around that time it changed that I really enjoyed being home, and I think that somewhat changed on the travel bit.
Did you consider, so, you grew up in Chicago, went to uni in San Diego. What did you study in San Diego, by the way? I wasn't able to find that.
Well, I studied business administration at...
we share the same. Very exciting degree, isn't it?
Yeah. No, actually, it was pretty good. We had good teachers back then, I remember. some of them stick with me today. I saw a teacher, his name is John Rodenreis. I saw him at Starbucks about 5 years ago. Said hello to him. He's well into his 80s now, but super, super smart guy in operations management. But it was a well-rounded education, I felt. And it was good. San Diego State University, a great program.
Did you find that, so this is the thing with business, right? Sometimes when I talk to folks, not to say it's binary in a sense, but there's the creative stuff. You got philosophy, history of art history, and you got business, marketing. Did you ever find yourself, now going to business school doesn't mean you're not creative. Are you more a business-minded person or are you more a creator?
Well, I like to say I'm both. I really enjoy art, and I really enjoy music, including classical music, but I like to get things done. I think people that are in business like to get things done, and they're in business because they like to get a lot of things done.
Right.
And it's like an orchestra. What you have is 100 employees, and you have each of your sections in the orchestra, and they all got to play together. And if you can achieve that, then the whole organization can move forward at a much more rapid pace. So I think that's probably an analogy
It's a beautiful metaphor, honestly.
that works for running a business. And not everybody has a talent for running a business. Not everybody has a talent for being a people person. I mean, there's people like I would give an example of Steve Jobs. Incredible creator, but maybe not so good on the human resources side. But he saw that in himself, and he put talent in place that could take care of those issues.
Actually I met him once. I had one meeting with him.
Oh, that must have been fantastic.
It was interesting. It was over the first iPhone launch. But I talk about him a lot because I've been so influenced by my time in tech. Usually I don't talk about it. Yeah. But you have a brilliant team. You have this brand that has had so much depth and so much progress. Do you have any philosophies at the helm that motivate the team or that keep things moving forward? Is it a cultural thing? Do you have an approach? Is it autonomy? What kinds of things do you want your people to have?
Well, we're just a really small company, in terms of size. Yeah, we got a lot of employees because we do everything manually here.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that motivates people is our commitment to authenticity. And, there are many brands out there that talk about authenticity, but when you visit the distillery, it's obviously not authentic. And that can carry over to any kind of brand, any kind of product that the consumer would be interested in buying. And I think there's obviously a segment that wants authenticity.
Yeah.
And that's what we felt. That's really in our vision, is to provide an authentic product that's made the way it was made 150 years ago, the way my great-grandfather made it, and carry on these traditions. So those were some of the things we did. Sure, there's a lot faster ways to do it. To make tequila, there's a lot faster ways of doing that. And for us, it was, no, we'll do it the old way. And, at a certain point, we almost closed it down because we didn't, the one thing we couldn't figure out was the distribution and the sales and marketing distribution.
Was that was that getting into the States or throughout Mexico?
No, we were in the States, but just getting traction in the States.
Yeah,
our product's not for Mexico. I mean, it is for Mexico, but it's not our major market because it's just too expensive and there's many alternatives for people here, and they prefer, Mexican market prefers other types of products.
When you talk about authenticity, there's something that's really interesting. We both love music. I particularly like punk rock music. It's got an attitude to it. It's a little aggressive. It's kind of like a fuck you to things that are established, right? And so I'm kind of curious, the embossed or the frosted glass under every label that says Los Abuelos, despite the copyright infringement and all this stuff that happened. Is this your way of giving a little bit of a punk rock middle finger to industry to big business, or is this something
No,
else?
not at all. What happened there was we had a trademark battle with some very nice people. They're actually very nice people, but they beat us. And it's like a game. They beat us. They had a first sale in the United States that beat us by about 30 days or something.
That's it. I didn't realize this.
Yeah, no, it wasn't much. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe I'm being wrong. It might be 6 months, but they had one sale in the U.S. that beat us, and it was like 400 cases in U.S. Virgin Islands. But that's right.
Well, that's a shelter, if I recall. It's a nice tax shelter.
Well,
that's my take.
But they made the sale
That's
there,
right,
so they
yeah.
beat us, and the trademark board gave them, and so that was because we were going to go. That was our primary name, Los Abuelos, which we still use in Mexico, and which we beat them here in Mexico, so we can still use it. But what we found is that many people were using our bottles as water bottles, so they're recycling our bottles as water bottles, and people would say, "Wow, that's a beautiful shaped bottle, and that's great." And so we decided to go ahead and put our corporate logo on there. That's our corporate logo, so that, well, nothing's being sold in it at all, but at least people would know they're pouring the water out of it. People would know that that it's our corporate logo on there. And I don't know if that's still happening as much as it did, but many people enjoy finding that.
So business, because I had the pleasure of being here today with Donnie and some of the other staff, Kobe, and looking at the process, which is great to finally get my teeth into it, right? Business to business, just talking about ROI. Now, this maintaining authenticity, which of course Fortaleza will always do, but was it your idea to create something iconic in the cap? Because that is a lot of extra cost and labor, presumably, but it's something iconic. Was that how you were thinking about it?
In our agave top.
Yeah.
Well, a friend of mine developed it, and it was his idea, and he developed it, and we remunerated him for that. It was a great idea. It made us stand out. And we found a good way to do it, and when we were a small brand, we thought, well, it's no big deal. But now as you grow, these things get expensive. But you know what? It's part of the whole mystique of the brand, and people come down and they go, you're making these tops by hand, and we provide jobs down here. We provide good jobs, and we still make money. So everything's okay. I think that the goal, if you said the word ROI, I don't think we ever looked at ROI. I think when I first wrote the business plan, I looked at ROI. But if you're going to look at ROI, don't get in this distilled beverage business.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Do not get in it, because as soon as you let's say you build your first mini distillery, and it's got a capacity of 10,000 cases a year. As soon as you get to 10,000 cases, now you got to build another distillery.
That's right.
So you're making maybe money at 10,000 cases, a little money, not a lot, but you're making some money. Marketing people will always want to take all the money you're making and spend it for you. But let's say you're making money there, and then you got to go to the next level. Now you need even more marketing money. You need capital investment, and the distillery is capital intensive, and that's why all these big companies are in it. I mean, you look at the top distilled spirits marketing companies, Diageo, Pernod Ricard, Campari. They're all in the stock market. They can generate money probably at 1.5% cost of funds. And so for them to build a $400 million distillery, it's not really a big problem. But for an individual,
because you did your initial raise in what, 2005? Was it 2.5 million raise? Something
no,
like that?
we never raised any money.
Oh, well then
we have no investors.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we didn't raise any money. We're not beholden to anybody.
Oh, I love that.
No, and that's why I say ROI. If you're looking for anybody out there that's looking to do a business on this ROI, don't get into distilled beverage. I mean, there's a few success stories like Tito's.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he struggled for many years. I mean, it wasn't like turn on the spigot and he was gone. And for us, we're still a tiny little company in terms of case volume. We're not even on the map. The Shanken report that comes out once a year, we're not even on that list. And well, every bartender knows our brand. Yeah. Shanken doesn't even know who we are.
Well, that's a good question, right? So the Ramones, let's just say, right? Great bands,
relatively known, of course, in terms of punk music. But for you, with Fortaleza, would you rather be great? I think I know the answer, but would you rather be great or would you rather be successful? And if you say both, that's fair, but I would love you to pick one over the other.
Well, there's a difference on where people are going. Many people get into this to develop a brand and sell it.
Yeah.
And when you develop a brand, you get to 30, 40,000 cases. All the big guys start coming around to want to buy you out and do something. And we've had all of them visit us. Very nice people.
Sure.
But that's not our goal. Our goal is to continue these traditions that my great-grandfather started. And to be here. I mean, I don't drive any Ferraris. I drive a pickup truck. I wear Levi's. You know, they raised the price on Levi's to like $80.
Do yours split in the middle? Mine, my inseam always splits on mine.
Your butt must be big.
Well, I suspect that's the case. I've been doing a lot more lifts. This is true. I've been doing deadlifts. But yeah, you're right. Like,
you got to get the bicycle ones. The bicycle have that extra material in
tug
there.
Of the hamstrings.
Yeah, you got to get the 511s.
Yeah,
that are made for
the 511s. I like the 511s.
Made for bicyclists because they got the extra cushion there. You know.
What is something that you would splurge on? Not a Ferrari, not a a fancy guitar. Well, maybe you might buy a fancy guitar. Is there something you would splurge on?
No, we just I live a middle class life, and there's nothing. We have some motorcycles, but there's nothing. They're not crazy motorcycles, and they're not worth $50,000 kind of motorcycles. But no, our that's our goal. I mean, if you look at our vision here, we still have the home of my great-grandfather, where my great-grandfather was born. It's down on the central plaza of this town. This town was founded in the 1500s. I think 1560 it was founded. 1540. Wow. It was founded before Guadalajara was founded, because there was water here, and the Indians there was a tribe of Indians living here, and so it's a very old town with a lot of tradition, and it's still small comparatively to many towns. But our part of our vision is to restore that museum to Class A museum, and we have a lot of work to do on that, though. We've got to put air conditioning in and put new exhibits in. But that's part of our plan. And then on our another part of our plan is to put a botanical garden on our property here, which we've started. We bought an excavator so we can get this stuff done, and we've planted 30 out of 100 trees this year, and we'll be done with 100 trees next year. Another 100 trees, and we're putting in an agave exhibit too, so that we hopefully will have about 200 species of agave here eventually. And so we're doing a lot of other things too, and maintaining the distillery the way it was. The distillery was basically with very few modifications. I think we put a third still in. We had to retire the two original stills because they were over 100 years old, and we replaced them with full copper stills, and we put a third one in so we could do a little more volume. And we changed our fermentation vats from 3,000 to 6,000. Right? Yeah. So there's just been a very few changes that we've done. And we're still doing it the way my grandfather closed this distillery in 1968. And we reopened it basically in the year 2000. We started repairing it and fooling around with it and bottle design and all that in 2005.
It's crazy.
We did
it's
our
been that
first.
Short when you think about it.
It was 5 years.
Yeah.
If I did it again and I had all the money in the world, I could do it in a year.
Yeah, right.
Getting everything ready, permits, getting all that stuff, because now we know exactly all the steps. But back then we didn't, and we didn't have all the money in the world. We didn't have the money, to hire the right people, and we didn't have any investor money that would have helped us. Well, things probably would have turned out bad anyways if we had investor money. But
because I can hear the music's building up and the excitement's building up outside of the cave here, so we have a short period of time to talk, which we should do this again. We should talk more.
Yeah,
about
absolutely. It's not a problem.
And but I got two questions for you left, right? And one is, and this is, I could be gone tomorrow, so maybe this is my last chapter, and I kind of think of what do I want to do to impact the world. But noting that you have all this experience, you've really brought this brand that's just so sticky. That's the word you use in marketing. If we consider these your later chapters today onward, what kinds of things are you looking to impart to the community, to your friends? Do you want to take on more of a mentorship role? Do you want to take more of a connection with nature? What kinds of things are you thinking?
Well, for us, like I'm saying, as I hopefully a year we've got some projects, some building projects online here, and again, we're trying to keep the authenticity of the property. This property on this side, we're trying to keep exactly how my grandfather left it. And the other side of the property, we are doing some projects over there. We already built some offices over there. For me, is we want to provide good jobs for people here in Tequila. We do all of our work here. We don't have any people in Guadalajara, which is typical. So we want to provide families with good earning opportunities here, and with good long-term. We have very little employee turnover, and we want to provide them with long-term growth opportunities. And for me, I look at it as we want to provide value add for. If you look at the tourism that comes, it's not only a distillery. You want them to have the experience of the botanical garden, the experience of a nice place to sit and have espresso coffee. We put in a coffee cart out there, and we put the little kiosk. When my grandfather built the kiosk, we just repurposed it to tacos and light food, kind of like a food truck style, so people can sit and enjoy the views and enjoy the breeze and sit in a field, in the middle of a field of agave. We already have good tourism, and the tourism that's coming is we're getting 5 stars from all of it.
That's great.
And the repeat tourism. We've got one guy that's been 9 times now. He comes about every 3 months, and he brings different friends with him. And so we're able to share. I mean, it's a very unique property. It's a very unique distillery. Nobody's got what we are able to do. And we're able to share it. And I can tell you right now that seeing the property with nobody on it is very depressing. Well, because as kids, we grew up here, and my grandfather always had his friends over parties, and it's just amazing that a property can have life. And then if there's nobody on it, there's really nobody that can see it. It's like that.
I love it. That's interesting.
The tree that fell and nobody can hear it,
that's
right? And so you have a property that's absolutely gorgeous, and if nobody's there, well, nobody can enjoy it, and that's why we set it up. But we close at 5 o'clock, the store closes at 6 o'clock, and then, I can walk the dogs, and I'll take all 12 of them around, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's great for the dogs. It's great for us, and
gives you balance too, I imagine, right? Being able
for me, it's just unbelievable. Sometimes we do have a friend come with, and we do a happy hour on the. Well, it's not quite a walk lately because I had some knee problems. So now it's a golf cart ride.
I saw y'all driving. Yeah, really.
And the dogs run, but I used to run it every day. I used to run it 2 laps all the way around, but now I'm relegated to the golf cart, and I'll start walking again because my knee's good now. But we'll start doing that as a walk. The bugs are kind of tough right now because our rainy season was a super rainy season this year, best rainy season in more than 10 years. So
definitely positive in that respect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Things haven't changed. Many people tell me, it's hotter, it's more rain, it's less rain. You know what? I'll be 68 this year, and I can remember when I was 10 years old here, and you know what? I feel it's exactly the same. The rain always comes around the 23rd of June. This year, the rain started on the 22nd of June. Yeah, it hasn't been so much rain in October as normally, but these are variations that happen with the climate here.
I love that.
But it's within the tolerance.
Yeah, it sounds like.
About every 20 years, we see ice in Guadalajara, and maybe 30, something like that. We see ice. I've had ice in the hose twice in my life here, so it's a few hours.
Yeah.
But that's what we're doing. I hope I answered your question.
No, it's good. You got it. This one is for me. This is a question for me. This is the last one, and we'll drink some tequila here as we open the doors, or as y'all open the doors. Okay, so music. We keep it open. Let's say you're drinking the Fortaleza Reposado with any musician, living or deceased, who at this bar tub, which we're sitting at right now, in this cave, who would you love to have a drink with that is a musician, a favorite of yours?
Oh, man, I just couldn't pick one, but I'll tell you a piece I would like to hear in this cave, but I would need a lot of musicians. Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 4.
Oh, yeah. That's a brilliant piece.
That's absolute one of the best pieces ever. Or Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 2. So,
You ever tried to play? Terribly difficult to play Rachmaninoff.
We had big hands.
That's right. Apparently,
Giant
octave
hands.
and a half. Yeah. As a guy. But so I love that you went classical. That's kind of how I was raised. And I would think that Beethoven would probably drink a bit with you. But if bringing musicians in here to perform that together is something you would be interested in.
But if I could do that too, I'd probably have bring the guy back from In Excess.
Michael Hutchins.
Yeah, Michael Hutchins, bring him back. He can come down from heaven to play here.
Oh,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands. But there's a lot of, I'd love to have the Killers in here.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to have the Killers in here.
There's going to be an intersection point at some point where we're going to work our angles and we're going to get some great musicians in here if they hadn't already been.
No, absolutely. And anyway, those are dreams, but we have some fun doing this. This is the one thing I'll tell you too, and you didn't ask this, but this is the best industry to be in ever.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're in this industry, you're in it for life, and you get to meet people that you'll know for the rest of your life. Because while some bartenders do leave and they go to sell insurance or something else, the majority, I think, of the people stay in the industry, and we see them at the shows. And like the Berlin Bar Show for us is like a high school reunion. It's just amazing, and we do it every year. Or the Brooklyn Bar Show, which is fantastic. Or even the distributor bar shows that we do in California with our distributors. And it's just great to see the salespeople, the owners of the restaurants, and the bartenders. It's just amazing.
It's a scene. It's a scene, man.
It really is. And there's no camaraderie like that. I started in the aerospace industry, and I think I have two friends from the aerospace industry that I still talk to, and where I probably have 300 bartenders that I know well enough that I can have a great conversation with them. That I've been to their bar. I used to travel a lot and visit 12 bars in a night. It was quite fun.
Yeah. When does the autobiography come out?
No, never.
No, too many stories to be made.
Never. My memory's the worst. I need that AI so my phone would be recording everything or something.
Well, I'm sure there's tons more stories. There's gonna be a ton more experiences and more people that you meet, and it's really been such a pleasure to have this time with you to talk. It's been years in the making, at least in my mind, and the fact that we're gonna get to drink some tequila together here in a moment is even better. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Take a look at our altar. We have various altars in here to remember the people that are gone, and take a look at the altar, and you'll find some people on pictures on that altar. We have an altar for the dogs that are gone too. So
that is very touching. I love that.
Yeah, it's something to see. And tomorrow you'll see we're going to visit the cemetery, and you'll see some amazing things.
Amazing, Guillermo. Such a pleasure. Thanks so much for chatting with me. Hopefully
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Cheers.
I appreciate it. Cheers.
Well, there we have it. Guillermo Sauza, founder of Fortaleza. Fortaleza, thinking about it when it started and it launched here in Texas, it wasn't really a big deal. And to see what kind of a behemoth it's become, even though the output hasn't necessarily changed, but the perception of the brand, the popularity, the scarcity, especially, Fortaleza is something very, very special. And if you love tequila, I think it's absolutely vital and essential to go visit the distillery. And so here's something I asked him about an autobiography because I had heard stories about Guillermo, nothing bad or salacious or anything like that. But I asked him specifically because those are the kinds of things that are going to get lost in the documentation. They get lost in time. And I won't reiterate the story that Guillermo told me shortly after telling me he was not going to write an autobiography because of bad memory, but he regaled me of a story with Tomás Estes, who was also a wonderful person and was one of the people I loved interviewing the most. But these stories exist, and I hope that someday you there listening, and I can share some of these stories together as well. Maybe it's really what legacy is in our lives. Sometimes it's children, sometimes it's business. But what if it's just those stories we tell each other at the bar top when one of the great friends in our lives has passed? I don't know. I hope that's what my life is when I am gone. So thanks everybody for listening to Show to V with Mike G. No matter how many cooking shows you will watch hand over fist, as long as HBO Max tells you to watch them, or if you're thinking, I actually don't have anything to do this evening, that's a great thing. Please keep dancing.